So hello and yes, welcome back to another video, guys. Now this is a big one today. This is a video I've been wanting to do for a long time. I wanted to show you guys my entire Star Wars collection. Now I've done this about, it must be about 4 months ago now for Marvel, and I've done it around the time of Endgame's release. So I wanted to wait for these big moments to do these awesome collections which I've got. To be honest, it's only really Marvel and Star Wars that I've gone overboard with, where I've bought so much stuff, because they're my two favourite franchises of all time. But Star Wars would take the cake for number one for me, because I've grown up with it, I've known it all my life. It's always been my favourite thing, even as a kid. I used to have posters all around my wall. I used to have a Death Star lamp. I had so much. And I've actually managed to find a couple things in my loft from my childhood, Star Wars related. I couldn't find my VHS tapes, even though I know they're up there in my loft somewhere, and my original DVDs, but I can't find them. They're up there somewhere. But I found another couple bits and bobs from my childhood, which I thought I'd still bring up down to show you guys. But I've got so much Star Wars stuff here. Star Wars is, to me, the most important franchise ever. It's changed cinema. It is, you know, when people talk about amazing cinema experiences, I think everyone talks about the 1977 release. Obviously, I wasn't there for that, but it's talked about so much. It not only has some of the most iconic characters of all time, if not the most iconic characters, it has some of the most iconic visual effects. It was groundbreaking for its time, and even the prequels were groundbreaking for their time. And I think that the sequels have also taken a step back to bringing in props and stuff, which have made the film look, I think, you know, considering these Star Wars films, they still get, they're doing one a year, so they are pushing them out quite quick at the minute, even though they're about to take a break. Their effects hold up a lot better than many other big blockbusters that are coming out. And I'm surprised that they haven't actually won any awards for best visuals yet. They might have on The Force Awakens, I can't remember. But I know that the last couple have been a bit gypped. Nevertheless, I'm making this video because we just had D23 and it was very exciting. Not just for Star Wars, but we got some really cool news for a lot of other Disney products like Pixar and their animated stuff. Got some live action stuff coming. Everything that's coming to Disney Plus itself. Marvel even had a few more series for us. But Star Wars stole the show, absolutely, and I didn't think Star Wars, I don't know, I love Star Wars, as I say, it's my favourite thing ever, so I never want to sound like I'm bashing it, but lately it's just always been Marvel stealing the show, so it's kind of cool for Star Wars to come in and have a nice little moment, which was cool. We got the Mandalorian trailer, which looks incredible. I've been looking forward to that show for so long. I'm a big fan of Jon Favreau, so I think that's going to be really good. We got another Rise of Skywalker trailer, which kind of went back and looked at, it showed a lot from the original trilogy, which I know some people are not a big fan of when they do that, but the Star Wars is a nostalgic thing. That's why they do it. It's not Marvel where it's new, so they're always giving you new footage. It's nostalgic. Those are the films which people love. People still love the new ones, don't get me wrong, but that's why they done that. And they did do the bit of prequel stuff for people like me who actually enjoy the prequels. And then we got some new footage, which was really cool. We got to see Dark Ray, which I'm going with. It's a clone at the minute. But that was cool. And then the most exciting news of all, blew my mind. Ewan McGregor come back out as Obi-Wan Kenobi. Thank you, Kathleen Kennedy, for listening. Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan, it's something that just had to have been done. You know, he just had to come back. It's fantastic. I can't wait for that. It's going to be a 4-part series. They're going to start shooting early next year. So we might get it at the very tail end of 2020, 2021, if not, is my bet. But that's going to be amazing. Ewan McGregor, I love him as Obi-Wan. Fantastic. Okay, so now I've done that. That's everything that's coming up. Pull the chair down a bit as well. Yeah, and of course, we got another season of Clone Wars coming up. Well, I love the Clone Wars. So there's a lot of cool Star Wars stuff coming at the minute. But for right now, we're going to take a look at everything that I've got. And when I say it's a lot, guys, I've got a lot to show. You can probably tell by the length of this video. I'm going to go quick. I've got a huge stack of Blu-rays. I got a big pile of soundtracks, because I'm a vinyl guy as well, so I buy all the Star Wars scores by John Williams on vinyl. I've got a big stack of books and some comics as well. And there's another couple little bits and bobs mixed in here as well. I've probably missed something. I know there's more stuff up in my loft, but I've probably missed something in here as well. I'll quickly show you this as well before we get started, because I might forget. This is a poster which I made. I made it at work, so I work for a printing company. It's a nice sheet of Dye-Bond, aluminium Dye-Bond. I printed on it, or printed and pasted it over the top. and it's gloss laminated, so it's really nice. It looks, you know, it's nice aluminium. It's stuck on there. It's hard, you know, aluminium. It's hard metal, and it's really nice. It's reflective. It looks beautiful. You don't need a frame for it as well, so it looks incredible. So there's that. Now let's go on to the Blu-rays. Let's do these. So first up, we're just going to start off with my box set. Here it is. I love this box. So this is when I started collecting Blu-rays. This was one of the very first things I bought. I had to cave and spend a bit on it. I think it was £50 or £60. But yeah, so what I'll do is I'll go through these films and quickly give you my little overview of these films. But when you open it up, you've got this amazing backdrop here. A load of characters, a nice mix of prequel and original. You've got a little book in here. The book don't really do too much. Just got a little picture for each film. So you've got Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones. I'll just skip ahead a bit. New Hope, because we don't want to be here all day. Return of the Jedi. And then there's some additional artwork in here, which is very cool. Some concept art. So that's very nice. Apologies if I'm sweating. It's just because it's so hot outside today and I've turned the fan off so it don't affect the video. Got episode 1 of Phantom Menace there. I like this film. Don't get me wrong, I know the problems with it. And some of the effects don't hold up great today. But it's a guilty pleasure again, guys. I know some of you aren't going to like these prequels, but I grew up with them. These are the ones I grew up with. There's enough good stuff in it, which makes it a good film, I think. Attack of the Clones, which is the only film which I will admit I struggle with a bit on Star Wars. There's enough in there to keep me going back, mainly the start and the end. But there's like this whole hour in the middle where they're trying to develop Anakin and Padme, and unfortunately, I hate to say it, but George Lucas isn't the best director, and it really kind of fell a bit flat on its face, this film. However, there's still some great stuff in there. Revenge of the Sith, my #1 guilty pleasure. I love this film so much. I know a lot of people tell me it's a bad film. Some people say it's okay. I think it's amazing. I'm just biased. I love it. I'll admit it's my #1 guilty pleasure film. I adore it. Then we got A New Hope, which is my favourite film of all time. It's just amazing. Then we got Empire Strikes Back, which is my second favourite film of all time. These two films, I love them. I love these two films. We've got Return of the Jedi, which for some reason some people like to nag on a bit nowadays, I've noticed. It's still an incredible film. Like, it's a little bit of a step down from the first two, I'll admit, but it's still like a 9 out of 10 film. I think it's amazing. And then we got some bonus discs in here. So we got episode 1 through 3, Archives. And then we got the archives for 4 and 5, 6. And this one's just documentaries and spoofs. So yeah, very cool box. I'm very grateful to have this. It's so nice to have. You know, because don't get me wrong, I like the sequels as well that we've been getting and the spin-offs. But this is my childhood, this box here. These are the most important films to me ever. Like, even the prequels. People who hate the prequels, I know you're going to be shouting at the screen right now. But those prequels are just incredibly important to me. And they are to many other people as well. I shouldn't have to make out as if everyone hates them, because they don't. But I know that there's a group out there that do hate them and they like to be very vocal about it. So, yeah. Anyway, now we've got the sequels. Brush through these. We got The Force Awakens. I remember going to see this opening day. I did see Revenge of the Sith in cinema as well, by the way. Did see that one. Force Awakens, yeah. Really good film. Stunning film. The Last Jedi, 3D. Yeah, this is a very controversial one, isn't it? I like this film. I can see the problems there. It's my least favourite Disney Star Wars product so far, out of the 4 films. It's good. There's enough good in there. It's like a 7 out of 10 for me. There's moments in it which are amazing, but then there are some moments which are my least favourite moments in Star Wars. So it's one of those where it's like there's some incredible bits and then there's some bits that I'm really not okay with, so it's just a real mixed bag. But overall, I think it's a good film. I like it. Then we got my favourite Disney product so far out of the 4 films, Rogue One. I loved this film. I had to wait a couple of days to see this, to go see it with my mate. And I read no spoilers, no reviews, and I remember sitting there and I was like, Vader had already popped up at his castle on Mustafar, and I was like, okay, that's it for Vader. And bam, at the end. Whew. And then we got one of the most underrated films I've ever seen, Solo. I mean, why this film didn't do better, I don't really understand. Well, I do understand, but I wish it hadn't have done that poor. Because it's a very fun space thriller, and I really enjoyed it. And I thought that the guy playing Han and Donald Glover were absolutely incredible in that film. Then this is one of the worst things Disney's ever done over here in the UK. They didn't give us The Force Awakens on release in 3D, so you had to buy it twice if you were a big nerd like me. So yeah, I've got another copy of The Force Awakens here on 3D, and I love this cover. It's a beautiful box, I must say. There's a picture of what it all looks like inside. But yeah, apologies going fast on some of these, because I know some people probably want me to spend more time on them, but you know, I've got a lot to show. Then I bought from America, this is a Target exclusive, The Last Jedi. I do have an unboxing of this one on my channel. I wanted to get a nice big box one to go next to my Force Awakens 3D, because I keep them separate. So I've got them. And then I've got Rogue One. And unfortunately I have not got the Target exclusive Solo. And I feel like I might have left it too late, because I've got a feeling it might be worth a bit of money now. But this one's really nice as well. Yeah, there's a lot going on the inside of this box. It's a beautiful box. And you can change the cover if you want to one of these. There's also, oh, you can sort of see them all. There's one of Director Krennic which I really like, but I figured I'd leave Jin. Then this is the only product here which is not official. This is Star Wars Despecialized. Got this off eBay. This is the original films with none of this is not the special editions. This is how they originally appeared in cinema in '77 onwards. So that's really nice to have. I've watched them once. Again, they're great. They are. We should have always had the option to watch them. I personally prefer watching the special editions that come out in the 90s, just because I grew up with them. Just because I grew up with them, guys. Alright, don't shoot me. But I know he's made more edits. He made more edits after that with the complete saga box. And them ones I'm not as okay with. Then we got the Clone Wars. We got the Clone Wars movie. I remember going to see this in cinema. Being very hyped. Very nice. And then I watched every season, every episode of this as it aired. I'm a huge fan of this. It's Star Wars Clone Wars. As you can tell, my box is actually getting a bit wear because I've watched these so many times. And I watched them as they aired. I've always been a massive, massive fan of this show. So I'm super excited to see them coming back for a final season, which I'm really looking forward to. And the cool thing is, the Clone Wars is canon. So anyone who says, oh, it's not canon because it's animated, no, it is canon. It did happen. And then we've got the episodes which unfortunately never got to air properly. The Lost Missions, which is Season 6. And for some reason, they never released this in the UK. So this is an American copy. But it's fine because it plays. And we got Rebels. And in the UK, they never gave us slips on the Rebels stuff. And then they never done a box. Because I would have liked to have got a box to go next to my Clone Wars one. So I've got Rebels and Clone Wars, but hey-ho. We've got Season 2. We got Season 3. And final season, Season 4. Now, that was an incredible show as well, Rebels. I really enjoyed the hell out of that. Then we've got these DVDs as well. We've got Clone Wars. Not the Clone Wars. This is just Star Wars Clone Wars. And this is Volume 1. I'd like for them to put them out on Blu-ray one day, and I'm pretty sure they will eventually. And Clone Wars Volume 2. Even though them ones are not canon anymore. And then I've got a couple other ways for me to view my Star Wars films here. Just grab these. So I've got some big sleeves here, which are still sealed because I was hoping they'd go up in value and they didn't. But we got the Force Awakens. So these, if you don't know what they are, they're like records, but you've got the Blu-rays in there and some art cards. I love the cover to this one. We got The Last Jedi, which is just beautiful. Absolutely incredible. And then we've got Rogue One. That's not it though. We've got a couple other ways here to watch them. I mean, I don't know if anyone has these players anymore. I'm sure there are some people who do. But I've got some laser discs. And this is the original Star Wars. Again, this is no special editions here. This is the original, the way it came out in cinema. This is the widescreen edition of A New Hope, or back then, just Star Wars. And then we've got The Empire Strikes Back. This is the stereo extended play version. Again, original, completely original. And the same for Return of the Jedi. I really like this cover as well. Vader like lurking over in the background there. Very cool. And last one, I've got the special edition box, because I thought this box looked really cool and it was super cheap. It's also numbered, which is nice. And they have different covers. So there you have A New Hope. And Empire Strikes Back. And Return of the Jedi. Which is funny, because that one's all glossy and the others aren't, so it doesn't match super well, but hey-ho. I guess I'll do books next. I'll save the records till last. Although I'll show these quickly as well. I've got a couple of Star Wars games. I had loads on PS2. Still have a load in my loft, like the classics, like the original Star Wars Battlefront, Lego Star Wars. But right now in my room, I have Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2. I'm really into this game. This game's fantastic. They've done a lot to improve that game since its initial release. If anyone has a PS4 or an Xbox One and you like Star Wars Battlefront 2 is hands down a great pickup that you can make. Right, I'm going to grab one pile of books here, because there's a couple piles of books. Now these are the ones that I still have in my room. A lot of the others have come from the loft. So these are the Star Wars books which I still look at a lot. So these first two are not canon anymore. These come out just before Disney bought Star Wars. So this is The Jedi Path, which is so cool. This is like an incredible book. It's Jedi through the years have like written about how new Force abilities, and you can see that up there someone's made notes over the top. Who is that? That's Qui-Gon, and then you've got Luke just underneath making some notes. And it's really cool because, you know, Yoda writes in here, Ahsoka writes in here, Anakin writes in here. So yeah, there's a lot of Jedi who write in here about old Jedi from the Old Republic and stuff like that. And it's just really cool. And it also goes into some bits in The Last Jedi, like when Luke was able to kind of mimic himself halfway across the galaxy, and people were like, that's never been a thing. It's actually in that book. So it was a thing. And then I've got the same one for the Sith. This is Book of Sith. Now the only thing about these books I will say is I wish I didn't have Star Wars on there, because that would look so damn cool without the logo on there. But anyway, this one's really cool as well, because if you notice, it's binded like different all the way through, because each Sith is meant to add something in here. Like I think Revan wrote one of the chapters in here, so you see it's like got all jagged edges, and you skip through and go to another chapter. So someone here's used like lined paper for all there, so it looks a lot neater. We got some really, really ragged edges, and there's a really cool one. You've got some of the most famous Sith Lords down the bottom there from the days of the Old Republic. So that's really cool. And again, I used to play the Old Republic as well on PC. If you haven't checked that game out, check that out. Got some art books here. I'm a big fan of art books. I only buy them for Marvel and Star Wars, but when I get them, they're amazing. I love them. So we got the Clone Wars art book. Really nice. It's just the first season. Unfortunately, they didn't do it for every season. But then again, I would have been spending loads, so in a way I'm kind of glad they didn't do it for every season. We've got some artwork here, or some concept art from the original 3 films, which is really cool. I think it goes into some prequels as well. Pretty sure they touch on the prequels. Yeah, there's some prequel stuff in here too. But yeah, again, beautiful book, beautiful read. There's a few more art books out there on the original films which I'd really love to get hold of. This is my favourite art book I actually own, including Marvel. The art, I mean, it's you know, the Marvel ones come in these big boxes, so they're better in terms of packaging. But this is my favourite one to flick through. This has got the best artwork in. The Force Awakens. Seeing all of the aliens and stuff, all of the new planets that they could have potentially gone to. Seeing like the Death Star, which we are actually going to see in Episode 9, like where it was left. It's amazing. It's a beautiful book. If you're a Star Wars fan, this is so worth picking up. This is like a perfect flick through. Next up is, of course, The Upside Down Jedi. The Last Jedi. Yeah, again, this is a really cool flick through as well. I don't flick through this one as much, but I love that cover. I love that picture of Rey. That's so cool. You see the Falcon down there as well. Some of the cinematography in that film is just beautiful. It was just made to look amazing. And then Rogue One, which is also really cool. Got this one on clearance, unfortunately, so it's got this horrible sticker on the back. But, hey-ho. Hey-ho, I'm not going to complain, I've got it. Then we've got the Art Solo, of course. I remember getting this one the day before I saw the film. So I was like, don't look through it, don't do it. But yeah, again, it's a really nice art book. And I only got this one recently. I got this about a month ago. This is the making of Solo. For some reason, they put this out for Solo and not any of the other films. I don't know if they were trying to defend it, like when the film didn't do well. It's like, oh no, look guys, we did still put a lot of effort in. But yeah, this is a really interesting book. There are things that they've done in this film which it surprised me. I was like, wow. It's like they put a lot of effort into making that film. No surprise, they do with all of them, but it's just a shame they didn't do as well as it did. Then we've got Rogue One, the Ultimate Visual Guide. As I say, I loved Rogue One when it came out, and it's quite a thick book, so I was buying loads of stuff for Rogue One because I just adored it. This is a character book, The Ultimate Star Wars. Again, this is perfect for people who like Star Wars. They want to get to know all these other characters, all these additional characters, like people like Bosk, Ventress, you know, those who Asajj, Aurora Singh, characters who you just see briefly in the films, even though Ventress you see in the Clone Wars. But anyway, and you want to get to know more about them. If you want an easy way to learn them, this is the book for you. It's perfect. And then I bought it, you know, I've grown up with Star Wars, so I knew a lot of these characters growing up and whatnot. One thing I was never good at with Star Wars was aliens. So I picked this up on my 21st birthday. I went to Forbidden Planet, my parents, and I went down and bought this book, which is the Alien Archive, and you see it's from Forbidden Planet there. And it's cool because it's helped me learn some of the species like the Trandoshians and whatnot, you know, because I was never great with the alien names. And then going back to my Star Wars game, Battlefront, there was a collector's edition strategy guide book, which my mum bought me for Christmas, which came out for the game. And it comes with some nice art cards, so yeah. But they're all the books that I keep in my room. Now let me show you some of the novels. I haven't read all of these as well. I would like to point out. So I got a nice stack of them. I was going through the novels for a while, just trying to get as many as I could. But anyway, here's the ones I got. So this one I've read. This is Thrawn. He's potentially my favourite admiral that the Empire had. After Tarkin, you know, I'm a bit biased towards Tarkin just because he's in my favourite film ever. But Thrawn is such an interesting character. If you don't know much about Thrawn, do yourself a favour and get to know him. He's an amazing character. And then we've got Inferno Squad, which is based off the characters that you follow in the Star Wars Battlefront 2 game. So you get to know them a bit more. Right, it's set right before the game. So yeah, you get to feel a bit more familiar with them. And then we've got Lost Stars. This one here I haven't read. I believe it's set straight after the fall of the Empire and Return of the Jedi. This one here is one of the next ones high up on my list to read. I'm reading Game of Thrones at the minute, so it's probably going to take me a while to get back to these Star Wars ones. But when I do come back to them, this is the next one that I want to look at. Leia, Princess of Alderaan, and I love this cover. It's so beautiful. See if we can get a camera to focus on that a bit more. So good. It's got red binding as well, which just looks really classy. And I've heard that one's really good as well. I've got the novelisation for Star Wars Force Awakens. There were some bits that happened in this which didn't happen in the film, which I found very interesting. And of course, these are all canon. So those bits that happened in the book that didn't happen in the film still happened. There's one book that I have that isn't canon anymore, but I'll tell you which one that is in a minute. Now, there's 3 books here in this series called Aftermath. This is Empire's End. This is the 3rd one, which I haven't read as well. This one's Life Debt. And these 3 all take place right after the fall of the Empire as well. And this one here I have read. This is just the first one. This one's just called Aftermath. And it was an okay. The writing was a little bit sloppy at times, but it was a good read. And then last one, this one here is not canon anymore, but I'm praying it will be. This is Deceived. Old Republic. Yeah, this is Darth Malgus on the cover, I believe. Very cool, very cool. Again, I remember him from the Old Republic game. Come on, Star Wars, give us some Old Republic films, please. Right, so I'll pull over the last of my books, and then I've got some comics and some soundtracks to show you guys, which are also very, very cool. Very excited to show you guys these. Now, these books here have all gone in my loft just because of space, but I still like to look at them every now and then. Sometimes they come back down when I'm in a big Star Wars mood. So we got Where's Wookiee? My sister got me this for Christmas a couple of years ago. A little bit of a funny one there. The Force Awakens, the Visual Dictionary. I'd like to keep this one down with my other two Visual Dictionaries, but this one's massive and it's really thin. I just wish I'd done it like the Rogue One Visual Dictionary. But nevertheless, it's cool just to go through here, see all the things that popped up in the Force Awakens. This is Incredible Cross Selections, or Sections even. This one's actually really interesting. This shows you all the interiors of the ships, how they're built. So we'll just open up to one of them here randomly. So we got one of the First Order Stormtrooper carriers, which is really cool. So there's some interesting stuff in there. Mission Files, Rogue One. I told you I bought a lot of Rogue One stuff when this film came out. I love this. I can't even remember what's in here, to be honest. I think I looked at this like twice. It's just a very simple book. I remember I bought that one when I was having a really slow day when I used to work over at Tesco's, so I could just have something to read. This one's really cool, actually. It's just a bit small, which is why it still isn't here. This is a character encyclopedia for all your main characters. You can see there we've got Vader, Padme, C-3PO, Han, and one of my guilty pleasure villains, General Grievous, there on the cover. So, I mean, it goes over some characters that are a little lesser known, I suppose. But, yeah, very cool, very cool. Then we've got the Ultimate Visual Guide. This one here I really don't know much about, to be honest. I've shelved this one and really haven't given it any time. But it looks like it goes over a lot of old canon stuff. So there's some comics in here which I don't think are canon anymore. I think there are a lot of Dark Horse comics in here, whereas Marvel do the comics now for Star Wars. So, but yeah, there's some cool stuff on the back. Like, see some old concept art there, whatnot. We've got the complete Visual Dictionary. Again, just more characters and more things and whatnot. Which I think I got this one for Christmas off someone. Yep. Again, you can see why some of these went in the loft, because they get a bit repetitive. And then absolutely everything you need to know. It's a very cool cover. And I don't know what's really in this one either, to be honest. Just lots of little facts, I think. Yeah. It's like some Clone Wars stuff in here as well. A lot of Clone Wars stuff. But, yeah, some of the monsters from Phantom Menace. And then, of course, this is where I'm really tugging at my my childhood here. This, I remember getting this for Christmas, opened it up, Christmas morning, 2006. Of course, it came out for 2006. It was actually Christmas 2005 when I unwrapped this. And I remember flicking through this book for hours. Like, literally, I think I'd sat there for about 20 minutes flicking through it. My sister had opened all her presents, and I'd still only open this because I was just mesmerised by looking through it. You know, as a kid, this film had only just come out, Revenge of the Sith. I loved Grievous, as you can imagine, as a kid. Four-armed robot with evil cough. He looked awesome. It's like, this is the greatest villain ever. And you can see all of the wear that it's got from when I would read it as a kid. There's just so much stuff. It just... you know, Revenge of the Sith, as I say, I don't need to explain it again why I love this film. But there's so much in there that just takes me back to my childhood. And then from every year on then, my parents would get me an annual for a while. 2007. And then they do a flip cover for some reason on that one. Then we got 2008. This one's got some muck on the top. You can tell that I really used these. I really looked at them when I was a kid. 2009. All very Revenge of the Sith heavy, because that was the last film there for quite some time. And then the last one I got for quite some time, 2010. And then, during the mad hype of The Force Awakens, I did buy the 2016 one. Which, I'm not going to lie, is actually so thin compared to the others. It's really classy looking though. But again, the inside, these annuals, they are very pointless. There's not much going on in them, really. It's just your very generic stuff. But, yeah. So anyway, there's that. And we're going to literally fly through these comics. I read most of the Star Wars comics online now because these don't look great on the shelf and I was spending a bit too much money on them. I kept these ones because these are my favourites. So I've got the actual Star Wars line. There's issue 1. Got another version of issue 1. And another one of issue 1 just because I bought a job lot and you just got another copy of each one. Issue 2. Issue 3. 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and this is the Vader one now. So Vader Down it's called. Number 1. I've got another copy of number 1 for some reasons. I just bought job lots and they've obviously got a bit mixed up. The Darth Maul line. This was really good read. I really enjoyed this one. So there's 1. There's 2. There's 3. Got Cad Bane on that one. Loved Cad Bane. 4. And 5 is here. Hang on. And this was set right before Revenge of the Sith, so it was a very cool read. We got Anakin and Obi-Wan. Figure of... I've only got the one of that. I finished off reading it online. Kanan. This was a great read. I haven't got them all, but I finished reading them online. So it was a fantastic read, seeing him straight after Order 66. And of course, I think in issue 6, it takes you back even further to when he was a Jedi, because I'm pretty sure here, yep, here you go, you can see it. I've got number 10 because he encounters Grievous, and I'm like, I really want to own that one. Then we got Princess Leia. This was also a very good read. Chewbacca, this was one of the weaker ones. I'm surprised I actually still have these. I didn't sell them. It's a bit hard to have a comic line on a character which doesn't speak English. So yeah, different ones. And I love Chewie. Chewie's, you know, one of my very favourite characters, of course. And then here we got Lando. This was a good read as well. Surprisingly, a really good one. Didn't really think I'd care for this one too much, but I really got into it. And then we got the Force Awakens ones, which basically tell the Force Awakens. I've only got one. And then I've got this mini book on Phantom Menace, which I got for free when I bought some Marvel comics. The guy was like, "Do you like Star Wars?" I was like, "I love Star Wars." He's like, "We'll have this on me." I've also got this CD soundtrack of the Phantom Menace. All the rest is on vinyl. I'm going to have to do this bit by bit because there's so much. Now, for those of you who don't know, I've got a music channel as well where I review music because I love music and I buy all my music on vinyl as well. So, yep. That's why I've got so many Star Wars soundtracks on vinyl. And I do play them all. I give them all a play each when I get them. Occasionally I go back to them. So here is the original with a poster. This is the 1977 original release. The original Empire Strikes Back, single vinyl over here in the UK. And original Return of the Jedi. Very cool. So then we got a picture disc of the Phantom Menace. This is beautiful. I think it's just the stars on the record. Double vinyl. I've got a coloured vinyl copy of Attack of the Clones. It's a Django Fett version. I think it's like a blue and silver, like, merged vinyl. And this one's in the loving memory of Christopher Lee. And then I've got Revenge of the Sith. This one's on a limited edition General Grievous version. Can't remember what colour this one is, but again, it will be a swirl thing. It looked amazing, I know that much. I've got a gold pressing of the original. This is on gold vinyl. Then the exact same for The Empire Strikes Back. And these are sealed, the gold ones. Still sealed. And Return of the Jedi. Then I've got the Force Awakens soundtrack. And this one's really cool because it has like these scratches on the record. Not scratches. When you turn all the lights out, you shine a torch on it. I forget what it is. Does it say? I think it's a TIE fighter on one side. Might be the Falcon on the other. But it looks like they're actually flying above the record. I'm not even joking. It's literally a hologram. It looks like the ship is flying around the record. It's amazing. Next up, I've got The Last Jedi soundtrack. And in the back, I don't know if you can see, but I've got a picture-shaped porg, which came out on Record Store Day. And then I've got the Rogue One soundtrack. And I've got a limited edition Record Store Day 10-inch in the back there. From Record Store Day as well. See these records wanting to fall over on the floor. I got an I Am Shark copy of the Force Awakens soundtrack as well. Which is on a very cool yellow and orange vinyl. I got a picture disc for A New Hope. I had to have this one. This one's perfect. Really nice, really nice. Oh, we're nearly done, guys. We're nearly done. This is the very last pile here. Very last pile of things I have to show. And then we got the Force Awakens picture disc. Very cool. The inside has Han and Finn. This is just a compilation of the best of Star Wars. So you got Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. This is also on a colour vinyl. It's split between blue, green and red, I believe. And in the back is also a 10-inch Record Store Day exclusive. You can see there, I've just popped it in the back of this sleeve just to try and save some space. I got another 2 Record Store Day exclusives here. One from The Force Awakens. And then another one from The Force Awakens. It's a picture-shaped BB-8 which is numbered. I didn't get a great number. But anyway, it's there. I've got the Star Wars Clone Wars soundtrack. And then I've got another Record Store Day exclusive. I've got the 7-inch picture disc from Rebels. Ugh. I've got a very weird Phil Pratt Star Wars dub album. Now this is awful. It doesn't even sound like Star Wars. It's not even really Star Wars related. Other than the fact that it's based off Star Wars. And it looks like Star Wars. Here it is. Wouldn't recommend it. But in the back I do have a 10-inch picture disc. I don't know if this one was Record Store Day or not. And one more item for the individual records. This is just the London Philharmonic Orchestra plays Star Wars and 2001 Space Odyssey, I think. Yeah. So now, last 2 items, very last 2. I bought the 6 Star Wars scores, beautifully remastered. So they are all in there. From The Phantom Menace all the way through to Return of the Jedi, just remastered. Beautiful box. I play these quite a lot, actually. These are the ones I always go to, because they're black vinyl, so it's going to sound the best. They're remastered. Beautiful. And I bought the 40th anniversary of Star Wars A New Hope. The vinyl box set. Again, this one is 3D. It never wants to come out because it's leather. It's not very well designed, actually, in that factor. But if I can get it to move, I can pull it out and show you that inside it is a beautiful book as well. And then you got all the records at the back. But yeah, so anyway, I'll leave it there because that's enough. I'm pretty sure. I think I've Star Wars everyone out now, and I will say I'm very proud of this collection. I'm very grateful for it, and as I say, Star Wars, such an important thing to me. I love it dearly with all my heart. I can't wait to see what Disney keeps doing with it, because the trailers that have come out over the last couple of days have excited me, and the Obi-Wan has been fantastic as well. But anyway, that is it for this video. Whew, I'm sweating. Don't forget to leave a message, like the video, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time for another video. Bye-bye.